can I connect to your Wi-Fi?
Yes. Let me make sure.
Is it Schneider?
Hold on, let me mute our audio before I go spouting off my Wi-Fi password.
Correct.
I know you trolls out there trying to find my shit.
Yeah.
The nose, oh, can you tell me home? Did you see it? I'm glad you stopped by. Take him to him, baby. Take him up again. This shit better work this time. How we feeling, Jared Metz?
I'm good, man. Dude, this is the first... so I did a podcast, my first ever, all right, was something like 4 or 5 years ago, and the guy who was running it was like, okay, we're going to do 10 questions, and each question we take a shot. So
Violent.
We were out at a OKBB on Main Strasse in Covington, and we were just in the back at a big table where other people were around us, so you could hear like everyone's chatter and how progressively I got drunk. Like, and we were sipping beer, like all of it. Like, people were coming in like just all of our friends.
Did he preface the show by telling you like we're gonna get you schmammered?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So at least you were kind of prepared. Like,
buddy. Yeah.
It's like donating blood. Like, have a good meal. Get some good sleep.
Yeah.
Don't wear any clothes that you're gonna be embarrassed by taking off. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to get to your sleeveys.
I think I drank the night before, so there was no prep. I did not prep.
Cool.
This was not when I was an intelligent person. And
I find
5 years ago,
you want to let people drink if that's their choice, but to make this show about getting people shitty drunk, it's like 1 in 10 episodes is probably usable, and the other one's like we start with Egypt, which is where I think we'd like to go.
Is that where we're starting?
I mean, fuck it. If you're interested, let's do this,
buddy. I'm so into this guy named Graham Hancock.
Cool.
Do you know who we're talking
Ancient
about?
Apocalypse.
Oh, buddy, I've seen a couple of episodes of the show, but I'm not a big TV watcher. But he had like a couple of podcasts where I was enamored by this guy and like his knowledge. I was just like, even if it's not proven or whatever, it's still just so fascinating.
Yeah, I listened to enough of his Rogan episodes to be like, okay, I'll forever turn it on and give this guy a chance. It's not something that like I'm prepared to argue based on what I've heard.
Yeah,
but it's definitely it's fun to have people that pop into your life and help you kind of reimagine the things that you were told were fact your whole life.
Yeah.
And like the age of the internet has made everything kind of a little more ambiguous, and that's helped and hurt in a lot of cases. But when it comes to the ancient past and things that we really don't understand, like it helps us kind of let go of the clench that we have on, I know this for sure, and this is why we're doing this. It's like, you can't prove dick,
Right, yeah. No, I mean, just when it comes to historical context where it's like old parables of like the flood.
Yes.
The flood, right? It's like, okay, it was probably real. Like they think it's for sure that happened.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay.
Well, and so much of our problem right now is like, journalism has changed very much since we were kids watching our friends become journalism majors and what that meant. But it's like, I remember the discussion being, how many primary sources do you have? With enough primary sources, can you actually guarantee that something happened? Is first person experience really that viable of a thing? Like, I'm pretty sure in the court system they stopped using people that were on the scene because they had a little bit of shock about what happened.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Right.
A witness report's pretty cool until you find out that this person has pretty strong PTSD, and they're just imagining that was a Dragon Ball Z episode.
I mean, when it comes to 10,000 years ago and just everyone pretty much dying, it's like, well, there are no witnesses.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, either they died or they're dead now for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and I think for a generation that's really been in a place without religion, like we didn't get brought up in the fire and brimstone era, we kind of have a different feel on it. It's been good to feel like historically things are a little more up for debate. It doesn't have to just be the deity and the things that you were told by a book that all the other books are fighting against. It's like, hey, let's just admit we don't know, and you run with what you're comfortable with.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if TMNT made me a better person than being, Christian or a Buddhist, I'm gonna roll with that as my faith, okay? Right. And give me the box to check.
Right. Yeah, even just growing up like in the church and then like either coming out of it and like kind of reimagining it in my own way is like sort of the same thing that he caught me around that time in my life when I was really questioning, like was like maybe I do believe in a God, like maybe I don't know what it is or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was discussing these like those ancient ideas where it's like, okay, the way it was represented is now kind of a proven fact almost.
Yeah.
Like maybe we're close. I don't know if it's 100%, but
totally.
That's good enough for me in a vulnerable state of being where I'm like, okay, yeah, I might attach to this. Like, who knows if it's bad, but
and it's flexible now. It's not like, it's not right, dogma that you live by. And like, I think we all have a hard time with, taking the things that we were brought up and told to believe and then conforming that to what we believe now and being comfortable with that changing over time. Like there's a point in everyone's 20s where it's like, all right, I got to figure out who I really am and what I really think. It's like every day you change. Your gut biome every 7 years is going to completely flip and you might be allergic to something then. It's like shit's always changing and you got to be comfortable with that. But being people that interact, we want to know what we bring to the table and who we are. It's a big part of fulfillment.
Right. No, I just feel like when I was going through like a lot of different things when I was like right dead in the middle of my 20s. I was a flexible person more than I think ever. And that was just a part of the growth and getting to a place where I was incorporating like my ideas in the music and listening to the right things. I felt like I don't know. Sometimes I go through phases where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here in this like death metal genre, but I really like it.
And that's interesting because I've only experienced you really in the acoustic context. It's like I've listened to some of the Season 10 stuff outside of there. But one of the things I love about hosting the Songwriters Night is like you get an idea of like I always describe the song as like a room. And what you put on the walls doesn't really fucking matter. It's like the shape of the room is what it is. And your bass player comes in and gives you a couch to sit on, and your drummer comes in and defines how you can move in the space and how the pace of this kind of navigates. But what you as a songwriter bring to the table is the room to kind of exist in and to have that play. So when you strip away a lot of the production elements, you get a better idea of how this person's building space for themselves in their life just to kind of exist. Like, me personally, I feel like songs are a better chapter marker than dates are. I don't do well with dates. I don't remember particular years. But if you ask me about a song in my life, I can probably start to chip away at what and why was going on in my life and how it led me there.
Totally, bro. Like I've always been in that state of mind where I'm like putting and this is such a overused term, but just creating a vibe, but like in its own song, in its own context, whatever that sounds like. Because I don't know, when we did that acoustic show, I was a little worried about how dramatically different all the acoustic songs that I was doing sounded in a like a group setting.
Yeah.
But I liked that we were bouncing back and forth. I felt like that gave me more opportunity to be like, okay, I'm gonna totally change it up.
Yeah.
Like every time, because now it's like just in a sequence. I don't know. That would have made me a little nervous, but the breakup was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take advantage of the space between my songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if you do the right things with your catalog in those settings, it's like, come in with the set list, but the moment that someone plays a love song that reminds you of something in your catalog, have some play to it. You know, like let you and the other artists have this conversation with your catalog. Because as listeners, now we have this storyline that's really honest and very unpredictable. And maybe there's some mistakes and stuff in there. But one thing that you said that I think we all feel is like, man, my catalog is so different. I don't know how these songs are going to fit together. Because you're looking at the things that divide them versus the major constant in this is you, the songwriter.
Right.
And you don't realize how much of a formative rock that is to walk throughout these. Like, you can go from the most drastic parts of your catalog, and you being the constant helps them have a similar vibe, a similar context, and a vulnerability in that, where it's like, this is the best day of my life and the worst day of my life. What do they have in common? It's the same fucking season of this show, you know, whatever it be.
Yeah. No, I mean, some of the darkest stuff I've ever written was on acoustic in like a deep drop tuning.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, drop D flat.
Yeah. What's that the drug related tune that's like
acetaminophen.
Dude, it's like when you initially brought up that song, I remember we're sitting at the Tin Roof, we're doing Joey's Songwriter Night.
Yeah.
And you brought up this situation in your life, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't know, this one's gonna go. Like, you know, like I don't know you. Yeah, it's like it's such I like when people give context to songs beforehand.
Me too.
I like when it's almost a bit. You know, it's like, make it really concise. Just give me enough to know, and then rip this thing. And you had me in a place where I was like, this guy's about to talk about his post-surgery experience through song. Like, sure, let's see how this goes. And it was heavy, and it was trancy, and I had a really good time. So
That's
then
cool.
on the Muse, when you came and played this, like, I was so excited to hear that song again, because you walk into the room, and you get to look around again, and you're like, I didn't notice the way that this thing drops into the back a little bit more. I didn't get to notice the lyrical nuances and things like that.
Interesting.
And I always describe songwriting as like, there's multiple layers of consumption. The first one is, did I like it? You know, super basic. Did I listen to the song and enjoy it? Cool. Next one is like, did I find something interesting in either the music or the lyric that brought me deeper into the song? After that, did I find something that related to my life? Did it connect at the right point in time? You know, a song that finds you senior year of high school versus when you're 45, you got 2 kids, has a very different seat in your life.
Dude,
and you keep walking down these layers, and then it becomes your favorite song you've ever heard, or something that really is just senior year of high school. It's odd the way that you, the songwriter, don't anticipate all the ways that this can step into someone's world.
I'm going to add one more thing.
Yeah, an addendum.
And yes, does it fulfill me? That I feel like if you can achieve that, you're like, you created fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's odd the way that people can see that selfishly.
Oh no!
I especially, like, one of the things I like about doing this show is I get some things in the comments that are points of view that I either disagree with, or I didn't expect, or I don't really understand. And one of them, I was talking about people giving DJs a lot of shit. I hate the way that DJs are treated. It's like, they didn't get the job because they take requests well. Spotify got that job. They got the job because they know how to curate a vibe and take this thing to the next level over a 4 to 5 hour period. You coming up and screaming in their face that you want more T-Swift has nothing to do with the fucking job to be executed on here.
Right.
So their fulfillment gets kind of knocked off, saying like, you're selfish. Why won't you play what I want?
Yeah.
And then you look at a lot of new modern pop, and people say like, why aren't you writing songs that I can sing along to? Why aren't you writing these things? Versus, I have a good buddy named Ed O'Donnell who was on here a while ago, and he said, great art walks that line between consumerism and personal fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got to find this in between. Like, that's tough for all of us, man.
Yeah, no, even just being a young artist and being like, okay, well, I like this, but they're not reacting like I thought they would. And I'm talking when I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of confusing because I was like, well, why don't they just like it because I did it? And that's just not how it works. So when I got, getting older, and this is going back to when I was in my like mid-20s, we were Season 10 was coming off an album that I really, really, really liked, and every time people heard it, they were like, "It's good," and I'm like, "This is the best thing I could have ever imagined." And then not getting the response that I wanted is like, okay, well, do I subside to what people want, or do I lessen the art that I want to make, and it's like it's none of those things. It's just finding the balance.
Yeah,
and
Well, and that's a really brutally honest thing to explain to people. It's like I poured my heart and soul into this fucking album, and Spotify won't even pay me for it because it's under 1,000 streams, or because the person that I wrote it about didn't really like the song. And you hold it so dearly still to this day. It seems like, is that the one with the sweet vinyl that we were talking about?
No, this one was
okay. You still got to give me a copy of that.
Oh,
it's okay. Next time, come do the songwriter night again. It's fine.
Yes, definitely.
It's really difficult to. You spend countless hours, hours that seem ridiculous now in the way that technology is kind of leaning us, whether that's when you AI automate certain things or when you just delegate to someone that has a certain flavor. When you sit there and you just do it yourself and you craft these things with every aspect of your being, and then you watch it flop, and how you recover from that. Because how many great bands break up that way?
Right.
Here's a question for you that I, as a songwriter, have always felt like the solo artist journey with a band of guys is the most easy way to navigate things. You can have band members come and go depending on what they got to do. You can be flexible for touring and taking everybody or just going by yourself. Being in a band comes with some difficult constraints, but it seems like y'all have been together for a long enough amount of time. Has it been a limiting factor in your life to have a set group of bandmates and this product that isn't just you, or do you like the collaborative push that comes from that?
Both. Yes to both. Just for the mere fact that we're all individuals with, Michael, bassist, is a head chef at a place and is a culinary artist, a bartender, all things in that realm he does very well, and this is what he's always wanted to do. Our other guy he went to school for rocket science. He's at aeronautics, so he works at GE, so he's the scientist. And then Murphy White, our drummer, is a graphic designer, but also like an incredible lifelong drummer who plays in multiple projects. So we're everywhere, and getting us, all four of us, in one room can be a challenge now that we're all like in our 30s, and two of our guys got houses and long-term girlfriends or either married or whatever.
And once kids get introduced to that, it's like, I'd say half my band right now is kind of in the thick of raising their children. And it's like, so we just got to bring more guys in and do it that way. But it's way harder when it's like, do you need to step aside so that we can work on this album, or we can take this great touring opportunity? Like, I don't know what to do here.
Right. No, I don't know what to do either, because the older I get, I feel like I'm more inclined to use them for their individual strengths, because the parts that Murphy White writes I would have never imagined, and just the way he plays is so perfect for the things that I write, and I don't think it can get much better, just because he's artsy like me. He'll put his input on like the structure of the song, all of these things that not a lot of drummers in my experience have done. And if they do, it's like, okay, well, I don't know if that makes sense for what he always gets it. Same thing with Michael, our bassist, is he's just like such an artiste about everything. Like, he'll big picture the song and be like, that can go, or like, maybe we do this chord here instead this time, or who knows, whatever. So I feel like, to answer your question, it's been both, because I want to work with them, but we're pretty busy now.
But it's one of the things that I always tell people about Cincinnati is I'm never moving. This is my fucking place. I'm determined to make Cincinnati the music city that I want to be in by the end of my life. And if that ends up being a flop, it's like, that's fine. Because the compromise of moving to a Nashville or a New York or an LA, one, sounds, very uncomfortable for the reasons that do make great art. They make great people. But it sounds like a removal from the biggest part of living your life to me, which is like, if you got a good family and you walk away from that, you've missed this very primal fulfillment that you can have by like I always tell people I didn't like kids before I met my nephews, and I'm like, all right, these punks are pretty sweet, you know. And it's like there's something different about that, and I can't imagine having children of my own without having my parents and my wife's parents to be in the picture.
Right.
So then it's like, all right, if I want to compete in the big leagues, I need to do everything I can to help propel this scene to a place that has the capability and the assets to do so.
Definitely.
So part of this is screaming about bands I think are great, like Season 10. But
absolutely.
Another thing that we really need around here is to look at these conservatories that bring out great musicians and give them reason to stay here by having fulfilling work. Season 10's about to take 3 road dates, and the bass player can't step away because he's a chef, okay? Is there a guy that can come out of a school and say, all right, I'll make the charts, I'll learn the songs, I'll do this run, and I'm just a hired gun, and I'm going to step away because that's that guy's role at the end of the day?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. That's I do want to that is what it's all coming to, and I think we all know that as vets in the game at this point, especially everyone in their like late 20s, 30s is like we know that it's okay that you can't be a 21-year-old punk musician who's just free all the time.
Yeah.
That's kind of ridiculous to even imagine that was my life at one point, where you're just like, yeah, practice 3 times a week sounds good. Like that, now we're lucky to get like 3 in a month. So it's, but so you utilize your time. I mean,
yeah,
it's cool with me.
And you talk to people about what that business model looks like, because it is a big part of the business, the sustainability of being able to take opportunities when they come your way. And this is not a place you can ever predict a good or a bad season. Like, it's clear that January, February, there's a lot of sitting around.
Right.
But when it comes to the summertime, you might get an offer within a 2-week period that half the band can't do.
Yeah.
And are you prepared to make something of that? And
right.
I found that if I need to bring in a new bass player, I need to learn how to do the work of getting them prepared one time, so at the moment that they can't do it, I have all these charts already finished.
Yeah.
I have recordings of the rehearsals. I know how to walk these guys through that process.
Yep.
But a lot of bands get to this very personal moment of, why are you going to have a guy come in and play my fucking parts? I wrote them.
Right.
And it's like, because you're unavailable.
Right.
You get your spot back.
Yeah. That's the thing is, like, I want that option. We've tested out a few drummers in the past, and like it was never the same.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something about Alex Murphy White that is so unique. I can't do it without him. If we're doing season 10 music, it is like almost unacceptable to have another drummer. Like, until we find someone who's just incredible and does their own flair or whatever, but that's hard to find. Like, drummers are the rare breed of all of us.
Totally, but that's 2 really great points of, like, one, you're never going to get somebody's thumbprint. You know, you're never going to get them. And also, if it's a new guy, you're never going to get 100%, maybe not 90%. You're lucky if you get 80%.
Right.
But you make that a question for yourself of, is the opportunity worth having a little bit of sacrifice here that most likely the audience isn't going to know if we do the work that we need to?
Right.
But then there's also, like, if we're going to have this pool of musicians that are just hired guns and they're great at that, they need to be paid well, treated well,
right,
called enough. And that's a really hard glass ceiling for a scene to break through. You go to L.A., and the guy that's been playing with Lana Del Rey just lost his job, and he'll come play with you for $50.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's huge swaths of musicians that are so talented, and they're so hungry that they'll take opportunities that are less than their worth to move forward. Like, look at the guys that play with Taylor Swift. One of those guys is a Cincinnati cat named Amos.
Okay.
And he came from our scene, was living in Nashville. They said, I got a young artist, this young female artist. She's like 15, and she needs a backing band.
Wow.
And he played with her for the last, I think, 15 years until they made a big band change.
Crazy.
And you just find yourself taking risks on those kind of things.
Yeah.
But it's something that our community of songwriters especially needs to help foster a good relationship in.
Yeah.
If you send a guy's phone number, what do you pay him? What's he worth? He's definitely there to negotiate his own rate, but not lowballing people because you love what they do and you love the utility of having them there.
Yeah.
Is an important part of us all getting off the ground here.
Right. Yeah. No, that's something I've been struggling with for a while. Well, more just about what you said about potentially moving or staying here. Like every year I change my mind. And what you said about your family is so vital. Like now that I'm older, I don't know if there's no way I would have told you this, but I'm an only child. So so I just have my parents, and like my extended family has always been something like 45 minutes away from me, except for my dad's side. So family wasn't really a big thing in my life until recently, pretty much my late 20s, when I was just like, oh, I should probably appreciate and respect and tell them I love them every day, all the time.
Yeah.
So now I'm in the crossroads of like, well, you can boost Cincinnati, because I do feel like we have always been a pool of super talented musicians that's just never been tapped. Like that was sort of the same thing with like Seattle in the 90s is what is sort of happening in Cincinnati now. Like we have a ton of punk bands and also people who are actively pursuing it and want to do this with their whole life, and it's endless. I just keep meeting more people who are like so good and have just been walking around this whole time, and it's like, guys, what are we doing? Something's wrong. Like we don't need to move, but like I don't know, there's just something about Cincinnati in my head that I've always been like, someone's not doing something, or no one's paying attention to us for some reason, and that's like, that needs to change.
Yeah, and it's really hard to put your finger on what's wrong with it. Like, if I had to point anywhere, and this is not proven by any means, or else I would have fixed it by now. When you go to a Nashville, or you go to New York, or you go to L.A., or you go to Seattle even, there's listeners in the local populace that know how good they have it, and they support like it. You have what they call in like entrepreneurial classes, early adopters.
Right.
That first 10% of your fans, that is not just, I'll show up and go home. It's, I'll show up, I'll buy merch. I'll show up, I'll sell merch. I'll show up, I'll take videos, I'll push it to the fucking world.
For sure.
You need people that have this vested interest in seeing it go well, that are just there to help push the scene forward. And sometimes that takes us, the musicians, doing that for each other. Right. There's a really beautiful moment at the Muse where you walk in and you see Safa and you say, I've watched your shit. You rock. It's like, those are moments that you don't know when someone needs to hear it.
Yes.
But you see a look in their face that's just like, for the next 5 minutes, I feel like what I've been doing has been worth it.
Yes, dude. 100%.
And those are tough things to come by.
Yeah.
You know, we live in a small scene, so a lot of times we're very combative with each other. We think we're fighting over slots, and we're fighting over fans, and fighting over opportunities. It's like, there is nothing but assets to share here.
Right.
And to mutually embrace. And if you feel like there's not enough for you, then take the initiative to get out of town on a touring basis, or move. But
right.
If this is your home, make it your home. Like,
yeah.
We got in a discussion the last time we bumped into each other about the touring thing, and how kind of it feels like a distant opportunity until your scene starts to have assets they share.
What are the assets in this case?
The assets of like contacts, club names, other bands that come through Cincinnati, and you introduce them to the scene in a way.
Yeah.
It's like the Midwest is this huge piece of area that has very different cultural hubs, whether that's Pittsburgh or Chicago or even Louisville. Finding folks that want to come through Cincinnati, showing them something that is so worth it in terms of venues, fans, and other bands, makes them say, all right, next time I have something great going on in Louisville, I'm going to throw a Cincinnati band a bone. You know, if there's someone that I need to go out with, finding that exchange between markets is a huge part of the acceleration of indie bands.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's been the pursuit as of the last couple of years. Which, man, dude, the most disappointing thing that happened in Season 10's career was COVID. We had like a 10-date run every weekend in every market that I was like pursuing for years already, and then it finally all culminated. And guess when our first date was? It was like March 18th of 2020. like the weekend that everything shut down, they were like, we don't think this should happen. Like it wasn't like a we're not doing it. It was like a no, we're pretty sure everything's gonna get shut down.
Yeah, we're gonna be hesitant about this.
Yeah, right, dude. So ever since then, it's just been like this crazy uphill battle. And I'm still not back to like the contacts I had, anything like that. So, and I was getting so depressed about it. Like I was still trying and nothing was working. So I just like straight up just gave up for a second. I was like, I need a break or I need to reevaluate everything and just see what my next step is.
Yeah. The most shocking thing about it is the folks that felt like constants in their scene, now we're left out to dry.
Yeah.
And, you know, what would they say? Like 70% of small businesses closed for good during the pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of those are independent music venues.
Yeah.
There's a lot of DIY rooms
dude.
that have no chance of coming back.
Yeah.
And I don't think that those people have been thanked, acknowledged, loved on enough to want to step into rebuilding that. Like as much as it took time to find their contacts.
Right, dude. Yeah.
You know, like one of the folks that I sing their praises every time I can. The Radio Artifact guys.
Oh my God, yeah.
Devin and Andrew have built
the best.
this mecca of in-person and online experience concerts.
Yes.
That is the best asset for us to share with touring bands. It's like when I did my most recent live album, I picked the one band out of Cleveland that's been so good to me, Apostle Jones and my buddy Mikey.
Okay.
And I said, come down here. We're going to put you on the middle slot. We're going to try to pack this fucking room. We want you to sell some merch. We want you to have a great time. And you're going to walk out with a live show that you can show to people to say, this is who we are and what we do best. It's like, because I can't afford to pay you a ton. I can't afford to put you up for the night. Like, there's limitations on this that we have to relearn from the pandemic. Because there used to be more fans, more houses to crash at, things like that. But we do have this one spot in town that breaks their back to make this experience so special that they're never going to forget that. I'll never forget those moments.
Yeah.
So leaning on those assets, if you're going to bring a band into town, don't put them at Motor where they're not going to have anything to walk away with.
Yeah.
You know, no offense to Motor, but it's like,
oh yeah,
it's a great room that normally has very little takeaway.
Interesting. I think Motor's. I never thought that about Motor.
I've always had difficult times getting people into Motor.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
But that's also a spot where I'm a little bit removed from a lot of the Cincinnati scene. You know, I built my touring market based on the Tin Roofs and another like corporate kind of spots. And I was doing the 4-hour slots with covers. And now I've started to kind of reallocate so that my touring is 1.5 hours, all original sets.
Yes.
I want to build people on this one thing because I found out that is such a fickle opportunity that you get in front of these drunks that are never going to remember you, and it's frustrating. And I love the Tin Roof folks for putting me up and giving me a chance. I got to open for Luke Combs there. I've gotten to play in
that's crazy.
All the markets I wanted to get into, they got me into, and I was making just enough money to say, I'm going to find somebody tonight, I'm going to ask them where to play, and I'm not coming back here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's some times where it's like they wouldn't bring me back. You know, I went in there and I played too much original shit, and they said, you're just not what we're looking for. It's like, that's fine.
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love doing like the 3-hour sets. Honestly, like more than anything, I love the exposure. I just love performing for like a giant amount of time.
Yeah,
like I wish season 10 did that a little bit more, but I don't know if that's what we want to do like as a group.
Totally, and you can't force people into those sets. Like I got bandmates that say like, I won't do it. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Because I think you and I are in that same category where it's like, I got some cover material I love to do, but more importantly, I got this huge bag of my own tunes that I need to give them time to breathe.
Yeah.
You know, like I play my Fishbowl set on Sunday nights, and I love those folks for giving me 4 hours every week just to come try out my shit.
Yeah.
And I'll play covers. I'll satiate. Like, I'll play Freebird for 7 minutes if you pay me well enough.
Yeah,
fuck it.
For sure.
But if I have a new tune that I wrote this week, and I only have one verse, I'm playing it 3 times. I'm going to make up a bridge. We're going to think back on this. I might play it again in the last set.
Interesting. Cool.
And to have that kind of flexible space in front of people, it's like you need the time alone to work on your masterpiece. and then the time to be honest is saying like, I don't know where the fuck to go with this.
Yeah.
You know, and if I'm a little inebriated, I might get there.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. I tell you what, dude. Like, no, it's especially when I'm a little fucked up. It's just like, okay, I think I know what to do now. Even sometimes, man, last year I was in the worst state of mind, and I was so drunk. All I did was play like an A and an E and wrote like one of my most favorite songs.
What's the name of it?
It's called Hope You Don't.
Is it out?
It's not out.
Do you want to play it?
I don't. Interesting.
I'll get you a guitar. I'd love to hear it.
Oh. How? What if, can you play it? If I sent you a file, could you play it over the thing?
I could run it on here, yeah.
Let's try that.
Give me an airdrop. Okay. Are you sure you want to put this out in a place that could be ganked for copyright reasons if it's not released?
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Interesting. No,
if you can airdrop it to my Mac Studio, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
One of the things I really like doing on this show is like, especially between songwriters, like having an acoustic close by that you can say like, oh, this is one of my favorite choruses I've ever written for this reason. It's like, let's run it and talk about it. I loved watching Stern and having like one of my favorite Stern musical moments is Aerosmith playing the song Pink.
Yeah.
And they have a beatboxer instead of a drummer. And it goes so fucking hard.
Cool.
Steven Tyler, cool. Joe Perry, and these two randos. One of them singing background vocals, and the other guy's beatboxing like it's the only show he's ever going to play in his life.
That's
it goes
tight.
So hard.
Dude, beatboxing is a whole other thing. I listened to this one weird band back in the day that was a beatboxer and like a guitarist and like a harmonica player or something, and they were like Polish. And I don't know how the fuck I found this band, but I was so impressed. I can't find your airdrop. It's like not popping up.
I'm probably hidden to the public because I'm scared of airports. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Do you ever spam airdrop with your shit?
No.
I was thinking about that today. I was like, why do I hand out posters when I can just
airdrop posters?
Yeah, exactly. Go sit in a Starbucks and just bother people.
Yeah.
You don't see the Mac Studio. I don't see you as well.
Okay.
Are you on my Wi-Fi?
Yes, I am.
You on the regular or the 5G?
I'm on the 5G.
Let's hop you over to the regular. Same password.
Yeah, okay.
This is my favorite thing to put on live streams. It's just like the technical issues and moments of honesty of just like, for the few of y'all that do watch this show, I love you. You should always know that. To the folks who just come on here to troll, God bless you. That shit's silly and fun. And for the folks that are deeply frustrated by these moments where it's like there's no meat on the bones.
Yeah, it's like, why aren't you guys talking about anything? It's like, bro, calm down.
If you got it on the regular, just hand me your phone really quick with the file. I'll walk in there and drop it.
Okay.
While I'm doing that, plug some dates.
Okay. All right. Okay. So actually tonight I'm playing at Hotel Covington. I should just look at the camera. There's a place I used to work at, actually. I did room service, which I have probably 10 dozen stories of like half naked women or famous people that I saw while I did room service at a hotel. But I'm performing there tonight at their at their knowledge bar from 7 to 10. So if you're actually listening and you actually come, how about this? Let's make a deal. I will buy you a drink, and I will play you a song even if it's bad. If you are listening to this podcast and you come to the show tonight, that will be my deal for you. I will play anything you want. I will struggle through anything, and I'll buy you a drink. All right.
Dude, I like these regrettable promises.
No regrets. No regrets.
No regrets.
This is going to happen, and I love it. And oh, buddy,
bro,
could you top me off, my dude?
I got peer pressured.
Thanks. Absolutely, bro. That's plenty, dog. Thank you. What'd you get peer pressured into?
I got peer pressured into playing some Creed a couple weeks ago, and like,
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Creed, huh?
I'll tell you what's wrong with Creed.
Fuck Creed. I'm just kidding.
They've been memed harder than Nickelback ever was, and Nickelback got a pretty bad hand at like the internet bullied them into popularity.
Oh my God, the Chad Kroger dog memes are just the toppest tier.
I'm unfamiliar with that, but that makes me thrilled to hear. I'll be checking that out after
just
this.
Look it up now. Yeah.
But it's so weird to think that there are bands reaching new heights that were number ones. Like, the Creed halftime show for like some kind of like Texas football game. Like, the shit's phenomenal for the time. But now you watch it and you're like, this is like Cirque du Soleil 90s rock. And it kind of like, it makes me sick inside. And the fact that they're getting bullied for something that was epic at the time, but it's dated, is a little bit cruel and a little bit awesome. Like, because also it's not like they're making the money they should from the new listens and things like that.
Right.
You know, they're getting fucked like every other artist.
Yeah.
But now when you get a royalty check, you're like, man, they're making fun of my shit again. You know?
Yeah. Every time it's like, oh, you got a couple 100,000. Yeah. And it's like, man, are we memed again?
Dude, you won't even make that. Media. Snoop Dogg put out a thing saying for 1 billion streams, he made 40 grand.
Bro,
let's do the simple math.
$1 billion?
$1 billion. 40 grand. And he came out being like, this is ridiculous. The simple math is, when it used to be 99 cents on iTunes, what's the difference there? 40 grand to $1 billion. When it used to be you had to buy the full album, what would that equate to?
Right.
Would you have $1 billion? Definitely not. You know, there's distribution issues there.
Of course, yeah.
But still, like the musicians, even at the top of the game, have been so robbed of the opportunity of actually making something off the art that it's going to have results that we never anticipated, and it's going to be bizarre.
Oh yeah.
But hey, I got this song. Let's give it a rip.
Oh, you did it? Okay.
Yeah.
So should I backstory?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't think I've. You know what? No, we're just gonna play it.
Okay, cool. Then we can.
It is very sad. I'm sorry.
I'm fine with that.
Why are we writing sad ass music, dude? I don't think it's mastered.
That's fine. The kind of folks that listen to this show don't know the difference. Not that they're uneducated; they're just careless. Yeah. Right, guys? I love you.
There we go.
There's no explaining the way she feels around. It might not mean nothing. I just wanted to see if it'd be worth it. And I don't regret, but I bet somehow I will.
got the chills, man.
I'm glad.
If I don't somehow, I bet I will to death.
So good.
Born out in the next town, now I'm back from there. Yeah, you took my breath, I hope you see it. If I don't regret, I shouldn't have done so wrong.
Why was this at the songwriters' night?
I don't know.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
It's.
The actual fuck's wrong with you?
I thought.
Would you
Hold on. It's
leave
weird.
me,
I like the way it ends.
Would you leave me, baby?
Really nice,
Wild.
brother.
Wild.
It's not released either?
No.
The fuck's wrong
No.
with you?
I don't know what to do with it.
Single.
Yeah.
Single
I mean,
with a really underproduced raw video.
Yeah.
One performance shot of
VHS.
you
Yeah.
singing it, then just something that has that pseudo psychedelic, low fidelity kind of vibe. Because like it's got such a great mood to it. It reminds me of all the things I love about like a Mountjoy or like what's the name of this band I'm thinking of? It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Houndmouth.
I love Houndmouth.
Yeah. It has a great like the first time he's like, no you don't, like do you need me baby, do you need me baby, I'm thinking like, yeah you need it, and then it's like fuck you. It's like it's such a great pull.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of this it's like it's so somber.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really soothing in that way.
Yeah.
And it's great when a song teases you with something and then it contradicts you and then it makes you comfortable with the contradiction.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I always like when a chorus slightly changes, but it dramatically changes the meaning. Mm-hmm. Like, so when it comes to, I don't know, I think the first one is, do you need me, baby? Oh, I hope you don't. The next one is, I don't need you, baby, but I probably will. And then the last one is, will you leave me, baby? Oh, I bet you will. Like, very super sad. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was fucked up, dude. Like, I was drunk as fuck and so sad. Like,
Did you play all the guitar on that too? Like all
yeah,
those
yeah.
I really love the shape and the tone of what you're doing with that. Like it really takes the ambience up, and like for a 2-chord song, I didn't worry about that once the whole time. You know?
Right, yeah.
And it's amazing. Bill Withers does that the best of anybody. It's like all these great Bill Withers songs where we don't go anywhere, but we fucking go somewhere.
Yeah. It's the drone. I love a drone aspect of a song. Like if you are gonna listen to season 10, you the listener, like think about drone.
Yeah,
that's it.
Now here's a weird request, and obviously my input on this doesn't matter. Unsolicited advice.
Sure.
I think this should come out under your name.
Yeah,
if it's just you.
This is what I'm talking about, because I have the acoustic songs that I've written. I'm really, really picky about them. Most of them I just leave on the cutting room floor. The ones that make it, though, I have been performing for a long time. And that's like one thing I want to do. I want to make like a weird outlaw acoustic guitar album, but then like sad droney acoustic album, but then I also have like dance music that I made.
Yeah.
And the dance music, oh buddy, if I could show you one more thing, that would be if
you want me to go airdrop it, I'm down to take a listen.
Okay, let's do it. Yes, this is some stuff that like I think I outdid myself, and it's so left field for me.
Yeah.
And I want to pursue it, but I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
The first time around.
Well, Cincinnati has had some great dance bands that like I feel like haven't really had their reckoning day in terms of people understanding the impact that it had on like other songwriters in the area. The few times that like influence has been really felt, like I saw the Auto Magic stuff and I was like, these people fuck.
Yes,
okay, this
dude,
is
so
nice.
good. Yeah.
And I didn't go to a single show. I don't know if they're still playing out together. I missed all of it.
Auto Magic?
Yeah.
Yeah, they play occasionally, as far as I know. Yeah, I have a friend who,
you
know? I know. I don't know what happened to him.
I need to connect with those guys and try to make something of that, because the biggest hope of this program is just to get an opportunity myself to get to know these people.
Sure. Oh my God. Yeah.
Because like for the amount of time I've spent kind of outside the scene, not playing the motor shows, or not playing the tavern shows, and being around Cincinnati music like that, this is the best thing I have to offer is content and time and the opportunity to at least give you something to walk away from with.
Yeah, definitely. That's I don't know if I told you about this, but I was on Inhaler Radio when they started, like right around when they started.
God bless Cornstetter.
Yes, God bless. I did a show called the Jerry Mango Local Hour. Jerry Mango is my nickname.
Okay.
That's my Instagram handle too.
Dude, that should be the acoustic stuff should be under Jerry.
See,
come on.
Here's my thing about Jerry Mango.
Come
all right,
on.
Jerry Mango sounds like I'm gonna play you some music.
No, dude,
Yeah.
it sounds like
I don't know.
It
Really?
sounds like really
Sounds corny.
honestly. It's not taking yourself too seriously.
Okay.
Like,
But that's not true. I do. I'm just kidding.
But no one likes an artist that says this is the most important thing you're gonna hear all day. I'll decide that for myself. So if you come out and you're like, hey, I go by Jerry Mango. My name's Jared, but you can call me Jerry for short.
Yep.
Here's, what was the name of that last song?
Hope You Don't.
Here's the love song that brought me here in front of you today. I hope you don't. You know, and it's like people feel that, man. And names are a hard thing to decide on until someone's like, that's it. Just quit asking questions of it, because you're going to spend all this time landing on names that didn't feel as natural as this one that you already put in the ether.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Yeah.
I really like it. My opinion is not worth shit.
No, I appreciate that, and you are the umpteenth time someone has told me to pursue that, and I still am like, I don't know. Maybe for like the dance stuff because it's a little silly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Something about Jerry Mango is a very silly thing to me, and I don't know if that matches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When I changed my name to Matt Waters 5 years ago, it felt like this distant attempt to be something I wasn't. Now I think about changing my legal name all the time because it's the only thing people know me as.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, it's a hump to get over of, is this me? It's like, it's not going to be you until it is you, and we just got to move past that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's a really interesting aspect of it being silly, and I don't think so many of us artists choose to put so many things under different umbrellas. It's like, I want to get closer to the songwriter. I want to know that Jerry Mango has this moody, soulful side that comes with these slow songs, but then he also has like this discotheque dance album that I put on when my friends are over, but when they leave I play the sad shit again, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, okay. I mean, I respect it. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I guess I should plug. So he's gone. I'm going to plug more dates. So the band is playing Madison Live March 16th with a band from Nashville called Arbor, and Multi-Magic, who we just said Cornstetter, that's his band. So we're playing March 16th. And then we are doing Motor Pub on April motherfucking 19th.
Oh, barely missed it.
So, what?
Barely missed the holidays.
I know. I tried to do 420, but it didn't work out. Band called Fanta, like the drink.
Don't
that's
you
on their
wanna Fanta,
Don't you
Fanta?
want to Fanta? Dude, how often do you sing that? Once a week?
Dude,
because I do.
Give me your phone back. That didn't drop.
Okay.
God damn
it's sending.
Yeah, let me just get closer again.
Okay. It's gonna be worth it. I hope. I've showed maybe an ex-girlfriend this album, so I don't know. If you want to go on my SoundCloud, it's on SoundCloud. But I've got some old stuff where I was okay. Look, super backstory. So I have another project name. When I produce currently hip hop, my production name is Pitts, and it's short for Piper in the Sky. And Piper in the Sky was a name I came up with because I used to hang out in graveyards, and in Southgate. And I would like go during the day.
Dude, just that setup is like, you want to talk about a moment where I need a silly name to remind you you're not being too serious. Like, I used to hang out in these graveyards, bro.
I did, yeah.
I leave Hot Topic. My mom would pick me up. I go straight to the graveyard. Guess what I'm doing?
Yep.
I'm using my studded belt to dig some shit.
Oh yeah,
up.
I got my track pants dangling, like dropping over gravestones and shit.
Cringe.
Yeah, super cringe. So I was 16, but there was a beautiful tombstone that just said Piper on it, and I would just stare at it and write music. And then I just came up with Piper in the Sky. Duh, she's dead.
Yeah. Hold on, I got this running pulled up.
Okay. All right. So this is a.
Oh shit!
I told you.
Am I at the Nordstrom rack?
I sure am. I'm fucking dropping cash.
She said she loved me, but then she left me. Now I don't know what to do. She
You said you produce hip hop?
Yeah.
but then she
We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
I know my love is true. Is this the part where I do what you told me? 'Cause there's something spooky lurking. Now my head's gonna do what it told me. 'Cause my heart is feeling empty.
So good.
Is this the part where I do what you told me? 'Cause there's something spooky lurking. Now my head's gonna do what it told me. 'Cause my heart is
Here we go, baby.
feeling
I imagine driving in a fast car in Formula One or something.
I picture myself dripping sweat playing Golden Tee at a club I shouldn't be at. You know? Running starts, fucking fly one.
Then she left me. Now I don't know what to do. She said she needs me, but then she left me. Now I know my love is true. Is this the part where I do what you told me? 'Cause there's something spooky lurking. Now my head's gonna do what it told me. 'Cause my heart is feeling empty.
That's it. Isn't that fun?
Dude, really interesting and different, and this like not what I expected, but like very fun and very free to do so.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was. I think what EDM is missing is a singer-songwriter aspect, and I wanted to try to. I was trying to go for something like that, where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, this is definitely like club level music, maybe like early festival, like sun setting, and then it's just hype music, but there's still like a guy and not just this like ambient like voice in the background.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I
Totally,
wanted,
something
like,
that's singable.
Yes.
You know, something that
Yeah.
you can learn the song. Like it's not a genre that I've been very into, but I love dancing at a festival, and like I think most people are in that same category. And it's really interesting. Like, there's now this aspect of releasing a song where it's like, it's time to find a producer and have them do an EDM remix, or else you're not going to reach that audience.
Right.
There's one lens to do it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think those folks serve a really unique part of the market where it has to be a different level of danceable than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Like, you can take any Motown track, and that's not danceable enough for the guy that's tripping on ecstasy wearing fucking swimming goggles at a festival. It's like, you need to amp it up a little bit. So you hand it to someone that specializes in that. You split this insignificant profit together, but now you get to see your song in a different light and let someone else come in and have a little bit of play with it.
Oh yeah, no, I always wanted someone to remix Season 10 songs.
Really?
I still have all the old like drum tracks and some of the things that Murphy White was doing. I was like, dude, this is just good background like drum beats for anything.
Yeah,
like yeah.
Well, I think that's a part of the scene that needs to be developed. It's like there are Cincinnati EDM producers.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to the Cincinnati DJ battles that Combat runs?
No.
Bro, you will get your fucking mind wrecked at these things.
That's tight.
So one of my buddies, DJ Ace Deuce, always competes in it.
Okay.
Combat runs the show. But like, you'll have guys that win like the Red Bull DJ competitions coming to Cincinnati, competing for a grand prize on Sunday nights. I'm over across the street playing mild acoustic tunes.
Yeah.
And they are shaking this apartment building to the extent where like I can't hear myself fucking think.
Nice.
I'm trying to play my set.
Wow.
But when I'm taking my breaks, I go across the street and I
Yeah.
get my mind wrecked. It's like it kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm happy for whatever brings people out here to see some live music. And say what you want about DJs not being live music, when people go to this level where you see some of the best scratching and you see with some of the best remixes, like, no, that's live entertainment almost at its finest. It's modern, it's hi-fi, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dog.
And there's a disconnect between the bands and folks that do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've had sometimes on those 4-hour slots, and you know, I lost some gigs based on this. I would have a DJ come out with us, and the DJ would jam with us. I'd send them a bunch of my stems before, so they could take scratch solos with like horn parts from the band and whatnot.
Sick.
You know, when we take a break,
you lost gigs because of this,
bro. People thought they were paying for a band. They're like, you have a DJ, and now we want the DJ to play. Like they asked me, like, instead of playing your last set, do you want to just keep the DJ on? I'm like, just because I brought someone that kicks ass doesn't mean we're gonna not come back on. And like, the difference in energy is not based on us versus them. We're together on this. They're staying up, but whatever.
Maybe that's why Incubus had such a hard time popping on the scene, because they had a DJ early.
Or Linkin Park.
Yeah, oh my God. Well, I feel, all I know is that Incubus was like, no one liked us for like 12 years, and then they did Science or whatever. Do you know?
I'm not super hip.
Okay.
Like, I'll play some Incubus, but like I wasn't like a diehard fan.
No, their early shit is like acid rock, I think is the genre that they kind of coined, or maybe they were just incorporated. But it's just, it's like the most high energy, like distorted guitar, but DJ scratching and Brandon Boyd going like, like he sounds like Donnie from Wild Thornberries. Sometimes it's crazy.
On the
like,
nose. Nice.
He's their early stuff is so badass. Like, people know Incubus for Drive, or they know them for their like, you know, like, no, they were hard drug users in San Diego or LA all their entire teenagehood, and were fucked up and wrote the craziest music that you'll probably ever listen to. Dude. Like, that's still like well written, but like very drug induced.
Yeah.
Super cool. I still like it.
Well, and I think there's a big opening in the market for more DJ integrated bands.
I think so too, man. Yeah.
It's a hard thing to pull off. Like, if you're a band that's never played with a click track before, this is gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
But if you have a DJ that counts it in, it's running through the headphones, we know what we're locking into, and then we can branch out. He can scratch and play some ambient shit. Like one of my songs called Operation Funkadelic.
Okay.
Has these great horn parts, great female vocals in the background.
Yeah.
So the DJ, when we start the song, is just going through this folder, listening back, deciding what to scratch on, putting things on pads, and grooving in a way that the song never has. We're a 4-piece. This thing sounds like the full band, but we also get this hi-fi elements. Like, I thought that was the tits, and it turns out I was losing gigs based on
Bro, that makes no sense. I despise that.
Yeah.
That blows.
But, that's also, there's always going to be a relational aspect to I hired something, I want that thing.
Yes.
Versus I hired something that got something different, and it's hard to decide if I like that or not.
For sure. I get it. But still, I feel like that is a band trying to step into modern times, but then it's not the right thing to do because they want a band and not a DJ, even though the DJ's in the band. Like, how does that make any sense?
Well, and also there's an issue on the mixing side where it's like, if the DJ sounds more hype than the band, then the mix is off. You floored him, and you kept us on reserve. And you can't floor us because there's mics on the stage.
Right.
It's like, we do the in-ears thing religiously. We're very tight on that being an important part of the show because I want the only sound coming from the stage to be live drums, and then front of house gets to have all this freedom versus the monitors going to the back of the stage, coming back. Now we got phase issues as things move forward. It's like, I'm trying to isolate so that you can push this shit and have a good time on your end.
That's cool.
If you leave us in a place where the moment we have a hi-fi element, it supersedes in the mix, it's just a bad mix.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We can learn from that. But then you're also at the point where it's like, oh, do we need to bring out our own engineer? So that things actually...
Probably. But it's like, do you have that expenditure? It's like...
Yeah. And that's another thing that Cincinnati needs is like, tour managers are this kind of like career path that a lot of people want to get into that have no idea. You start by finding a band and doing whatever needs to happen.
Right.
And like, that might mean you help load in, you mix, you flip T-shirts, you get payment, you break down, and you help drive. It's like, dude, is that a $50 a day job or is that $250 a day job?
It's way more than that.
Yeah, it's like it's a tough process, and a lot of people find themselves getting burned by bands or by the experience. Like, that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
I've had guys that have been amazing assets to the team until it became a fucking job to them, and then they're like, all right, I'm out of this for my own mental health's sake. I'm like, thank you for your time. I really hope you don't look back on this as a negative thing, but you did great things for this team.
Yeah. No, we were trying to incorporate a DJ aspect. Like, do you know what an SP404 is?
It's like an SP to SX.
Yeah.
It's like a rolling pad.
Yes. The rolling pads. So we were, for the latest album that we did, we were doing a lot more post-production than we usually do. So there was so much backtracking that was in our songs that just completely elevated it. We were like, we have to incorporate this live. Mm-hmm. So at first we had our drummer, like, he had the click and he would hit the button and then it would play the backing track like as it started. It was tough to do because we had to he had to count 4 and then it was press. You get 4 counts before you count 4 more in for the band.
Yeah.
So that was a lot, and we didn't want to do that. There were some mistakes. So we just got my buddy Jamal, who I like. He's the rapper in Pizza Boys. That's where I produce. So he...
great name.
Pizza Boys, bro. Let's talk about Pizza Boys in a second. We just had him as like a member and he would just DJ and then, you got onboard effects on this thing. So he's just like tearing it up during like even a small backing track. It elevated it a whole other way just because we had a person twisting knobs on like a psych rock band.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And I would hate that to be a detriment. You know what I mean? Like, that seems like that's the coolest idea.
But you're talking about it in the right way. Like, it is a risk, and you got to learn how the band runs these things. And like, people don't like the in-ears thing because you feel like you're in a box. But for the sake of the show and control, it's like, it is the only way, in my opinion.
It is,
and there's a barrier to entry on the cost thing, but you can get past that if you're just like, this is why we want to do this. We want to isolate everyone's mix so that they can hear the things they need to hear. Like, having a talkback switch on stage makes all the difference to me.
No
because I don't have to get on the mic and say, give me a sax solo. I can say, sax solo. And I can say, here we go, bitches. And then it takes off. And it's like, how much better is the energy that there's their performance and then there's the coordination in a way that feels totally isolated.
I love that aspect.
Yeah. Now, the best thing with the rolling pads is, so you're going to have a left out, so your mono send, or if you want to get fancy, you have your stereo send. Then you need to have a sub or an aux out.
Yep.
And these are tracks that are dual triggered. They come off the same play. And the one you're listening to has a count in and a click, and it has the vocals telling you where this thing's going to go.
Okay.
And then the rest of the track that's playing for them has none of that. It just has the track you need.
Huh.
So we're totally insulated. We have an instructional going on in our headphones that they aren't necessarily hip to.
Right.
But the step above that is we want to be able to stretch the song out. Just because we practice it this way, if the mood's good and this sax solo is bitching, how do we go rogue without losing that track?
Yeah.
And it's like, now you need to parse this thing out into sections. So on that track, you're hitting trigger, and it's like, we're staying on the bridge. We're staying on this chorus section.
You wild, bro. That's nice. I would love that aspect.
I've never gone that far with it because it's such a chore to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, dog. No, that would scare the shit out of me, honestly, as a performer.
Yeah, but there's in the world we now live in, where kids are exposed to this earlier on, it's going to be easier to find a drummer that can make that kind of thing happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like you might have a run where maybe you're going 80% because you had to bring in a different drummer because your guy's busy. But this guy's great at doing that. You pay him the extra dollar bills to make this thing happen, and now you have it moving forward.
Yeah.
And like us pulling with the utility of each other helps the scene develop. Psych rock bands with DJs, bands with really clean setups that tour well.
Yeah.
Tour managers that are experienced and know how to take this to the next level. They're fulfilled and paid well by their employers.
Yeah.
There's all these things that we're working at disadvantage of when we're all saying, I'm going to protect my contacts, the bands I play with, my markets, my fans. It's like, fuck all that. We need each other now more than ever because the monoliths of the music industry have lost their marbles in terms of Sony doesn't have the capital to break artists the way they used to. Warner Brothers doesn't have the roster they used to. These things aren't as guarded as they used to be. The internet is the great equalizer, but you still do have industry that supports these things in a way that's economical, smooth, and considerate towards the folks involved. Like in Nashville, if you get studio musicians on your record, there's 3 types of rates you can pay for. Demo rate means exactly what you think. I'm going to pay you the lowest dollar amount to make this demo, and if we're going to take it to the next level, I'll come back and I'll pay the master rate.
Yeah.
The master rate's good up to a certain number of sales and plays. Yeah. And then you have like master in perpetuity or whatever they want to call it, which means you had a smash hit and you need to pay these folks a little bit more. And you don't need to re-record that necessarily, but there's a union in place to make sure you didn't pay for a demo and get a smash hit because those folks need to retire too.
Yeah.
Do I think we need to unionize the city? No, that's going to get me hung, and that's a tough way to do that.
Definitely. Yeah.
But that's the older industry there that's really served this group well. So finding out how studio musicians make a good living in Cincinnati is a task for all of us artists involved in this.
For sure.
Finding out how tour managers take care of themselves in the off season is a really important part of all of us getting better at this.
Yeah, no, we were lucky enough to play for we called it a national label showcase
with Rockstead, right?
With Rockstead,
I love Jake Burns. That's my brother right there.
That's cool. That's cool. No, there was Trauma Illinois and Multi Magic.
Trauma Illinois, fucks.
So good.
They're opening up for Hairball, like one of those great
that's right. No, I heard about that.
I think that's Hi-Fi Indie or something like
that.
No,
something like that.
Temple Live in Cleveland.
Okay.
Go check out Trauma Illinois' video.
There is so we were playing with another of this guy who will remain nameless. His project called Daddy's Beamer is a band that he is.
You're not gonna name the guy,
with.
But you're gonna tell us his band.
Well, he does not want to be named.
Okay.
So, but the band, I'm gonna shout out the band because they're a band, and they're all cool people. We played with them last year in March around this time, at Madison Live, and I was like, I really like this band, and I've never found a band that I thought really genuinely sounded like us. Like even the dude's voice, the way they write their music, I was like, dude, this is like our brother band, if anything.
Yeah.
So I was talking to them, and I got with Frank from the Madison, who was like, well, why don't we try to contact their agent, and then we'll put together a showcase. And that was like a pipe dream until it was actually solidified, and I was like, oh my God, okay, let's do this. So that was the last show that we did in 2023 is we did the agent showcase. And yeah, I've just been in contact with him and talking to him and learning about like the way he runs. Like we're not under his jurisdiction yet, but he was like, here's what you need to do for me to even consider you.
Yeah, and this is a booker?
Yeah.
Cool. Those are also parts of the industry building where it's like we're in a place right now as a scene where folks step into those roles, get done dirty, turn into a bad guy.
Yep.
And that's a really tough place to be when you genuinely stepped into this.
Kevorkian.
Dude.
That's a name you probably haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, and it's not a good one to hear. He sounds like a supervillain.
Yeah, he literally is like...
And that sucks, because that was a great club.
I know.
Now it's gone. And that's a loss for the scene at large. But also between bands, we can communicate that this is a bad figure that's done a lot of people dirty. And I don't want... Like, I had a producer that I had this ugly breakup with that ended in a lawsuit, and I had to go through all this shit. It was tough.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Sucks.
At the end of the day, I learned a lot from the experience.
Sure.
And when me and this guy were close, I would consider him one of my best friends.
Damn.
And we did really good work together, and I only wish him the best.
Cool.
But at the end of the day, we had this really ugly end of this thing, and it didn't feel constructive for either of us.
Yeah.
It just set us both back. And moving forward with other artists, I feel like I would warn them of the things I went through.
For sure.
And is that good? No. I wish that his situation would have gotten better, my situation would have gotten better, because then there's referrals to be done.
Right.
And there's an interesting thing about, like, even your fans. Like, I've always heard you need to fire bad customers. If you have people that come out to your shows, they're constantly causing problems, you need to eradicate them.
Of course.
That's a tough thing for a scene. You know,
it is.
Knowing bad listeners, bad club owners, bad promoters, things like that. You don't want to feel like your full-time job is shouting out what people do poorly, but we need to be absolutely transparent with each other about this guy did well by me, this guy did not.
Yep.
You know, she's trustable. You know, this tour manager started taking off the top. You know?
Yeah, he. I said he when I was already in a thought process, but there was a couple of guys in the scene who were booking at places that are now gone that set a very bad name for themselves, and it was a community-driven thing to be like, we will not work with this person anymore.
Yeah.
And that was the first time, I don't know, this was about 10 years ago in my experience. That was the first time when I was like, cool, okay, we need to do that because that was bad. And he did some shady shit. Let's just put it that way. And now being a bartender, I feel like I'm even better at kicking people out. You know what I mean? Because I have to.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes motherfuckers too drunk.
Yeah. And those are weird conversations to have. Like, I was just I was playing one of my favorite tour spots. It's called the Neon Rooster. It's in Aberdeen, North Carolina.
Okay.
Dude, I met this guy on Facebook in DIY tour postings.
Okay.
And he sold out a show for us before anyone there had ever heard us.
Wow.
Okay.
Holy
He's had us
shit,
back 3
dude.
times. We sell it every time. They buy a bunch of merch. They're always amazing.
Holy
They're the nicest
shit.
fucking people.
Nice, dude.
And we just did this awesome like live performance with them that's gonna go on their like sister brand's YouTube channel that has like 60,000 subscribers.
Okay.
And it was like an in the round performance. The band's all looking at each other. There's like 80 people around the background, and we're having a great time playing this show. But there's one dude who's a little too mouthy when he's celebrating in between songs or interrupting discussions going on between the band. And what do you do during that situation? You know, like you're doing a live recording of something. It's a live performance, and you have someone that paid to be there. And that club owner handled it brilliantly. He knows this guy. He knows the conundrum that's going on there. And I'm still glad the guy came. You know, there's positive moments and there's negative moments. But if you're not prepared to handle that, or hecklers, or shitty fans, or shitty band members, you're going to get stung in this industry.
Yes, dude, for sure.
Shitty band members is a really hard thing to watch out for, too.
I know. I'm very lucky to have the same, 3 dudes for 10 years. Sans one person, but the guy who left was, very amicable. I've never had, camaraderie issues with these people, and I know I'm lucky. We are very fortunate.
That's stellar.
Yes. Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah. Well, brothers, we start to kind of conclude this. Is there anything else that you want to promote or kind of talk about?
Yeah, no, I just want to shout out Pizza Boys before we get out of here.
Dang.
For sure. No, me and my buddy, this dude's my best friend. His name's Jamal Potter. We started Pizza Boys something like 10 years ago with like 12 other dudes. Maybe there was 12 total, including us. And we were like this Odd Future kind of thing. Do you know Odd Future?
No.
Okay, Odd Future is like Tyler, the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt. Like all these guys that you've heard of that were in a collective and did a Loiter Squad on MTV. That was Odd Future. So we were doing that, but in Covington, Kentucky. And we all, the story started because we all worked in pizza at the time, and we were just like, let's just call it the Pizza Boys. Like, okay, like I was working at Mellow Mushroom in the kitchen. Jamal delivered pizza. Everyone involved did pizza or was doing pizza.
That's bizarre.
So yes, it is. Yeah, it was 12 fucking 20-year-old college kids. Yeah, it's honestly, it's not that bizarre. Like we were broke as fuck musicians who were doing pizza. Okay, so. But yeah, no, we have a couple albums we've been working. This is my side hustle on the side hustle. Because Season 10 is like the main thing, but Pizza Boys is like, I've been making some fire ass beats.
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot this year. I've been putting together, well, as of this could be a good way to officially announce this, but I took a position at Madison Theater doing their social media, and I get to book on the rooftop.
Congrats,
on
bro.
Thursdays. Yeah. So
Nice.
this is a new thing. It's not, I have not signed a contract, but it's going to happen because I'm already booking for it.
Nice.
So yeah.
My boy Andrew's also doing a very cool thing of Beyond the Stage, I think is his name.
We were the first episode.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's Andrew's last name?
Eiler.
Andrew Eiler.
Eisler. Isler.
Amazing dude. Really
Yes.
cool concept. What was his old band's name?
Oh my God. Ocean Grid.
Cool.
Yeah.
Toured for a long time.
Oh
great
yeah.
voice,
They were
great
huge
songwriter.
for a second.
Yeah, man. And really, it's interesting when you see guys that had a career in the music and they decide to pivot and be a supporter of the thing. Like
Yeah.
those are a treasure chest of what they can do for a group of musicians. So,
Yeah.
Andrew, we really appreciate what you do, brother.
Thanks, Andrew. There is one more thing
Please.
that I think is interesting that every time I tell this story, people are like, that is like the most fascinating thing. And I'm like, okay, but it's how we got the name Season 10. We were teaching our very first bassist. His name was Jeff. He's been gone for a while, but I was like teaching him one of our songs, and I was like, play C, it's on 10, but our drummer was like wailing, and he was like, what? I was like, C's on 10. I was like, play C's on 10. And he was like, why are you saying Season 10? And then he was like, oh, I thought you were saying a band name or something. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And we were trying to change our band name. We were Sheep. And then we were like, we don't like sheep. Although I liked sheep, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So we got rid of it. But and then he said that, and that's how we got the name.
So, in what context? Do you have a song in like 10-4 or something? Like, in what context do you count to 10?
No. C was on the 10th fret.
Oh, okay.
Which, in fact, I figured out later that it actually wasn't. It was a D. It was a B or something like that. I was like, C's on 10. It was like, no, it's a D, but D's on 10 is not a good band name.
No, dude, it sounds like a strip club, honestly.
D's on 10.
D's on 10.
D's on 10. That can mean a lot of things.
It's a mainly large-breasted establishment.
Sure. Okay. I wasn't thinking about dick size or anything.
Here's a bad idea that I've incessantly told people. This is the first time it hits the internet.
Okay.
Newport, Kentucky hosts a number of strip establishments.
Absolutely.
And you see some aspects of the market being underserved.
Okay.
We have two establishments, the Brass Ass. And the Brass Bull.
Yes, my favorite of the two.
Dude, I've only been once, and it was okay.
Let's say okay.
I
like okay.
So we have A, we have B. There's one more brass animal that could help serve the market that we haven't established.
Oh, yeah?
I don't have a trademark for this, but why do we not have the brass cock?
I don't know. I mean, we got the playpen. Maybe we could put them all in.
What's the playpen?
There's a stupid. You don't know the Playpen?
No.
Do you know where Bobby Mackey's is on the AA?
Yes, recently closed Bobby Mackey's.
It is right up the street.
Just the way
like
you said that
right there.
It insinuates such a dirty vibe.
Oh yeah. Well, it's within walking distance. Let's just say when I go to Bobby Mackey's, sometimes I'm drunk enough to go to the Playpen.
Fair enough.
This happened once.
What?
It probably isn't going to happen again because Bobby Mackey's is closed now.
Sad.
And I'm not pulling up to the Playpen on the AA highway in northern Kentucky.
No.
Nah, dude. I have standards.
I recently was driving on the AA and I didn't realize how much my connection I was going to lose. And I was like, I really should download some shit because this is a lonely, sad drive at the end of the night.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. We covered a lot of ground today, brother.
We sure did. Yes. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been such a wonderful experience to get to know you over the last
Same, man.
8 months.
Yeah.
And I really like your songs, and
Thanks,
I appreciate the multifaceted parts of your craft and the way that you continue to kind of open yourself up to whatever's next for you.
Yeah,
it's not predestined in that, and I think that's really refreshing for a lot of songwriters in town to see that you're willing to let an idea be what that idea is. It doesn't have to just fit in this one lane of who you are.
For sure, yeah. No, I think the Libra in me wants to be every person on the world, so I'm trying to cover all that ground, and it's pretty confusing. But I'm glad I have 3 dudes who are like, "Hey, buddy, just stick with this, and we'll do this." Yeah. And then you have one outlet. So shout out to my boys in season 10.
Gang.
The boys.
My friends of the Weekly Wave, this is Jared Metz, i.e. Jerry Mango, i.e. Pitts, part of Pizza Boys and season 10. Make sure you follow them. Where do they follow you at?
Follow at season 10 pretty much anywhere. Definitely on Instagram. And we have a website, season10band.com.
A limited sweet vinyl run that I need to get a copy of. Fuck you for forgetting.
I know, I'm such a dick.
All right, players.
Thanks, Matt.
Make sure you tune in a little bit later. We got Tyler Carson coming on. Peace, y'all.
Love y'all.